I don't know. I'd say I'm reasonable.
Okay, that's completely unreasonable.
I'm reasonable.
I'm unreasonable.
You have no idea just how reasonable I have been.
Reasonable synonyms are sensible, rational, practical, fair, appropriate.
Fitting, suitable, logical.
All things I would definitely say describe me.
Do they describe you?
Welcome to Unreasonable with Zainab Johnson.
I'm reasonable. She's reasonable. She's so reasonable. Yo, you guys, hey. Well, okay. Welcome to I Am Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I am Zainab Johnson on a scale. Whenever I even attempt to sing in a non-serious way, people always like, okay, girl. I'm like, don't even try it. Don't even try and gas me up. It's the vocals aren't there. Are the speaking vocals there? Sure. Or is the voice distinct? Sure. But the harmonies, the tone, the carrying a note, it's not there. So don't gas me up. I appreciate you, but don't gas me up. On a scale from 1 to Terrence Howard, how reasonable have we been this week? Have you guys seen the Terrence Howard? We ain't gonna talk about it, but Terrence Howard, if you don't know, actor, really, really wonderful actor. What's my favorite role to see Terrence Howard? I mean, I actually loved a lot of Terrence Howard's roles. I really loved him in the Best Man franchise. I loved him in Hustle and Flow. I loved him in the Fox show with Taraji Henson. What was it? Can't remember the name of the show. But I as Lucius Lyons. But he has an interview on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he is talking a lot about math and science and new science and, you know, equations and stuff. And it's really interesting. It probably has like 10 million views. 5 million of those views, not that it's not interesting, but 5 million of those views is you got to watch it a bunch of times because it is a lot. I'm not even finished with the interview. It is a lot to grasp. It's like, oh, I was trying to listen in a car. I'm like, no, I got to pull over. I got to take notes. I thought it was going to be like a casual, interesting conversation. Like, oh, I'm going to just listen as I drive to, you know, wherever. No. You got to take notes. You got to be wide awake. You have to be fully engaged, or it's like there's no point in listening, or you really have to try to grasp all what he is trying to put out there. And it's kind of interesting. I was going to say it's funny, but it may not be funny to you guys, but it's really interesting because Terrence Howard really does have the look of like, he do got the look of like, girl, he do got like a sly, I don't know, you know, he cute, but I can't really trust nothing he's saying. You know what I'm saying? Bring me my money, girl. You know what I'm saying? He got that look to him, you know? But then what he's saying is really, it's just interesting. A lot of metaphysical, a lot of, you know, anywho. It's going to get a lot of, because I'm telling you, if you tune into it and if you get it all just in one watch, then wow. You might need to sit down with Terrence Howard. Anyway, let's talk about where I am coming to this week. This week, the week of this particular drop. Oh, you know what I didn't say? You guys, we broke 50,000 subscribers. Thank you so much. I do believe that it's a combination of like my stand-up clips, the podcast full episodes, and the podcast clips. But thank you everyone that has been here since the very first episode. I appreciate you. Everyone who, you know, just got on board, I appreciate you. The people who will listen to this and watch this 3 months from now. Hey, and I appreciate you as well. Now the next goal, maybe I'll start going live. Like, would you guys like that? Like maybe when I'm on the road doing my shows, maybe one night after my shows, I'll go live and maybe do some like at live ask Z's or something. I don't know. Let me know if you guys would be interested in that. And then, of course, I would leave the lives up for you guys to watch it at your leisure. But yeah, thinking about doing that just to commemorate, us reaching 50,000 subscribers, and the next goal is 100. So, like, share, and subscribe. Perfect timing for that. Okay, let's talk about the cities that I'm going to be in this weekend that's coming up. Starting tomorrow, Thursday, June 6th, I will be in Denver, Colorado, at the Improv in Denver for the entire weekend, Thursday through Saturday, June 6th through the 8th. If you're in Denver, recommend some food places, because I've driven through Denver one time. Didn't stop anywhere. I drove through Denver on my way. When I moved to LA, I drove from New York to Los Angeles, and we drove through Denver. And so I have no idea where to eat. And so if you believe you have some really good, strong recommendations, send them my way, please. Then next up, I'll be in Nashville, Tennessee, June 14th and 15th. That's a Friday and a Saturday. I will be in Nashville, Tennessee. And June 21st and 22nd, San Francisco, California. June 29th, Richmond, Virginia. That's it for June. July 12th and 13th, I will be in Virginia Beach, Virginia. July 18th, Columbus, Ohio. July 19th and 20th, Cleveland, Ohio. Then July 24th, I will be in Los Angeles, California. It's good. It looks like I'll be home for a week, so that's great for me in my rest, right? July 31st, I will be in East Hampton, New York. August 1st, I'll be in Boston, Massachusetts, one night only, August 1st. Then August 2nd and 3rd, I'll be in West Nyack, New York. This will be my first time in West Nyack, New York. I feel like that's really close to like certain parts of Jersey, but if you are in West Nyack or its surrounding areas, you know where you are. So definitely come to the show August 2nd and 3rd. Then August 22nd and through the 24th, August 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, I will be in Chicago, Illinois. September 13th and 14th, I will be in Bloomington, Indiana. September 18th, I will be in Raleigh. Last episode, I was saying Riley, and I feel like somebody commented and was like, girl, it is not Riley, it is Raleigh. Right? Am I saying that correct? I hope I've improved. Raleigh, North Carolina. September 19th and 19th through the 21st, I'll be in D.C. So September 19th, 20th, 21st, I will be in D.C. September 27th and 28th, I will be in St. Paul, Minneapolis. October 17th through the 19th, I will be in Philadelphia, PA. And I realized last week, I was like, ooh, I'll be in St. Paul. In St. Paul, I expect my Muslimas to be out there. But Philly, same. Okay, I expect all my, my bearded brothers and my, hijabi or no hijabi, you know what I'm saying? I would like everybody there. But I'm just saying, if you are also, I welcome you. I love seeing it. I feel it just warms my little heart. It warms my little uncovered Muslima heart. So that's October 17th through the 19th in Philly. Then October 25th and 26th, Detroit. Muslims, cities, okay? But of course, everybody else, like I said, I don't care what your orientation is, where you come from, come to have a good time. Come open and ready to laugh, because I'm going to come and reciprocate that energy. Okay. Then November 15th and 16th, I'll be in Paris. Those tickets are officially on sale. They went on sale today. I announced it over the weekend. They are officially on sale now. Paris, 2 nights only. 2 shows, 2 nights, November 15th and 16th. November 18th through the 23rd, I will be in London at the Soho Theater. Those tickets are, I believe, it's 6 shows, something like that, and they're already, all of them are, I think, over 50% capacity. Friday and Saturday, I know, are almost sold out completely. I think there's like standing room seats or something, I'm not sure. But the 18th through the 23rd of November, I will be in London. Those tickets are also on sale. November 29th through December 1st, I will be in Ontario, California, IA. And then December 4th, I will be in Austin, Texas. First time ever in Austin. I ain't never been to Austin before. Never been there, never performed there, never connected at an airport there, never driven through there, never been to Austin. I will be there for the first time ever, December 4th, one night only. And then December 6th through the 8th, I will be in Houston, Texas. So the link for those tickets, for all of those tickets, are in the details of this podcast. If you are nearby, or if you are in, near, or if you are nearby, if you are in, or if you know somebody in or nearby any of those cities I named, come out to the show. And if you're watching this, I said this on Instagram, but if you're watching this and you're like, I really want to go, but it's not in my budget right now to go to buy a ticket for a comedy show. I'm sorry. Just message me. Just message me. Like I'll happily gift anyone in need a complimentary ticket to my show. So. And don't worry, when you come to comedy shows, I know there's most likely 2 drink minimums for most places. If you're like me and you don't drink alcohol, like you can totally just get 2 bottles of water. Like, and then even then, if you're like, Zainab, I'm gonna be so honest with you, like I can't afford a ticket price, I can't get the 2 bottles of water, still just DM me and let me know that. I'll never share that information with anybody else. Now you gotta get your way there. Don't be like, oh yeah, Ann girl, could you get my flight? But a ticket and like the water, I got you. Or even, what I was about to say, and a drink. No, I'll get you a soda. Again, like, share, subscribe. Okay, so what's going on with me? What's up with Z? I had a really wonderful, beautifully affirming weekend, but I went into this past weekend. It was a bit tough for me. I was having a hard time last week because we're all aware of what is happening in Gaza. The awful, I don't even really know how to talk about it because I honestly, you guys, I hate, because I know sometimes I be sounding so naive. And it's not that, but I am quite shocked. And it's not like, oh, I'm just shocked and can't. Like last week, my timeline was like filled with beheaded babies. Just like, so I think the thing beyond what is obvious, like it's not special to be saddened by it, right? And it's not rocket science. It's not like, I think that the reason why I specifically get really sad sometimes is because I feel really powerless. So given that, okay, so I'm going to say a few things to kind of bring it together. We all know that like the internet and social media in particular can be really resourceful, but it can also be really toxic. And as I'm sure many people are, especially the more public facing you are, the larger your, fan base grows. I get a lot of really complimentary feedback, and I get a lot of trolling too. And this has been since I'd say the start of my career as a stand-up comedian. It's often inspired, especially specifically, there's of course sexism out there, there's racism, but then There's Islamophobia. But then there's something else that I struggle with. It's like the biggest thing that I struggle with. So I get a lot of trolling, right? And I know that it's just that. I know that it's not even really people believing what they say. Some of it could even be bots, right? Some of it are whatever. I just know that it's trolling for the sake of trolling, right? Friday, maybe it was Friday, I saw this message on one of my videos, one of my recent posts. And this woman said, ugh, I thought I blocked you already. Which is, I think that that's wonderful to block people. I think it's wonderful. That's the power. You guys have heard me say it, like that's the power you have with your page, right? Yeah. Curated to only see and be whatever it is that you need in your life, right? So she says, ugh, I thought I blocked you. How dare you use Islam for profit? You're not Muslim. And then the thing that pissed me off about the message, because I get a lot of that, but the thing that pissed me off about the message is then she stipulated, and I'm a North African woman or a woman from North Africa. I can't really articulate right now. Like I know in my brain why that. I actually can articulate it. I do actually have the words. I just don't feel like it. Because it's so layered. If you know anything about North Africans, North African Muslims, that's a very layered conversation in terms of identity and prejudices, right? And how you identify and whatever. But how dare you to send me a message saying, how dare you profit off of Islam? Are you stupid? Seriously, if you think that there is profit, if you think me as a Black American woman, Muslim woman, can profit off of Islam in the United States, it's like you don't know nothing. I just said that my entire timeline is filled with beheaded children. Beheaded children. And our president, regardless of the amount of protests, regardless of him being suffering in the polls, to somebody who we all know is an unviable opponent, an unsuitable opponent, despite all of that, he's still sending billions. Our government is still sending billions of dollars in aid to aid. Benjamin. I know him. So if you think that there is, I wish. I celebrate my Muslim identity in my special and ain't made a dime off of it. So happy to have done it. So happy, so thankful that Prime gave me the platform. So thankful that they gave me the resources to do it. So thankful for everybody that helped bring that together. Mashallah. But ain't seen a dime from it. You're not Muslim? This what, if you're not Muslim, if you're like truly not Muslim, like meaning your faith is in Christianity or atheism, like you have no faith, or you are Judaism or Buddhism, like whatever it is, you do yoga, like whatever it is. So I'm not calling you not Muslim, but you know what you subscribe to, right? What faith you subscribe to. You may not know this, but one of the most haram things, one of the highest sins is for a Muslim to tell another Muslim that they are not Muslim. It is haram. It is one of the highest sins. It's also kind of ironic because Muslims believe everybody is Muslim. That's how strong our belief is in Islam, that we believe even if you don't know that you Muslim, you Muslim. Even if you have not become aware and therefore taken shahada and are now practicing your deen, even if you haven't come to that yet, even if you have not reverted yet that you were born Muslim, that's what we believe. So for any Muslim to have the audacity to say to another Muslim for any reason, you are not Muslim, that in and of itself is haram. I'm not going to pretend like I don't know that the world is grieving. I ain't even gonna pretend, like, like I know. And I also understand, like misery loves company, right? Even if you don't mean to be miserable. What's the state, what is happening in Gaza causes misery. Ain't no way around it. It causes misery. A misery that I can't even imagine for the people who are actually there. I can't even imagine it. But however far you are removed, it causes misery. I know that misery loves company, but I want to caution people and specifically this North African woman. I want to caution your misdirected grief. It's like you pulling out the shotgun and you shooting at the wrong person. What you shooting at me for? A better use of your time. Every time you read something on the news, you see something on the news that enrages you. A better use of your time than coming to my page and specifically saying something, knowing damn well you ain't blocked me, because if you block me, I ain't gonna see your comment. So you're very diabolical in the choices that you're very intentional. And what in the misery you are trying to, in your misplaced grief, you're very intentional. But a better use of your time would contact our government. Contact who? Contact all of the people that have been elected in all of the places, all of the seats that have any sort of power. Contact them and express your anger. I'm feeling it too. But I ain't going to nobody. I'm not going to anybody and telling them I wouldn't dare. Now, as much as I'm speaking as much as I just gave you guys that, I would be lying if I said that it didn't affect me. It bothers me so much. And I'm even the type of user, meaning I'm the type of social media user that a lot of things that bother me, I don't even say they bother me because I don't even want to fuel a troll. So it's I ain't going to let you know what brings me joy, and I ain't going to let you know what brings me pain, because I don't want you to use it against me, right? That's the way I think, right? But this past weekend, it really got to me. And I know that it got to me because I do feel, as I'm sure many of us feel, even in the things that I do post, the people I share the people who I believe they know what they're talking about. The people who I believe they have boots on the ground, their families are there. They have resourceful and actionable information. Those are the things that I share on my platform, that I hold space for in my life. As much as I'm donating, as much as I'm trying to figure out how I could best be useful. And also not ignoring the fact that people do get penalized. My life is not easy. I was about to say my life ain't been no crystal city. But it's like, yeah, people do get penalized. So it's navigating all of these things. It bothered me. And it's quite interesting that we're talking about faith, because when really horrific things are happening in the world, it's when your faith is tested the most. Because I find myself asking why a lot, sitting in my first prayer every day, my Fajr prayer, really trying to being very specific with my dua, very specific, but I have to fight the urge to be like, but Allah, why? Like, you're so powerful and mighty and all-knowing. Just stop this. I have to combat that. So, sometimes it's too much for me, and and my will can get a bit broken. That was me Friday, early in the day. Not even know, you so sad that I don't even know, am I eating, what was I supposed to do just now? What am I doing? I was trying to send an email, or I'm disoriented, right? Then I go to this panel, and a wonderful comedian friend of mine, Dave Hellam, invites me to speak on this panel about mental health, because Friday was the last day of Mental Health Awareness Month. And I was on a panel with, some other comedians and actors, and that poured into me. It's always good to laugh. It's always good to find moments, even in the darkest times, to laugh, and just sitting up there, listening to them speak and speaking, it took my mind off of my state of being. Even, I even navigating my grief. And then I'm always because I always believe it. My perspective is there's always somebody worse, right? And sometimes when you have that perspective, it's very hard for you to create space for you to be sad, to grieve, to be angry, because I'm always but there's somebody, how dare I? Yeah, these people messing up my day, but my day ain't nothing compared to beheaded babies. So navigating that, how much grace to give myself, empathy to give myself, when I'm constantly but wait a second, is it valid compared to this? So it was so I'm on this panel, felt good. Then I had some time. I had maybe 90 minutes in between that panel and my spot at the Comedy Store. And I go to get something to eat. And because I ain't that type of person. It's very rare that I'm so distraught I'm going to lose my appetite. If I'm losing my appetite, then somebody come rescue me fast. I go to get something to eat. And then I'm like, you know what? First of all, y'all know I love Target. If you see me perform live, you know I love Target. But I also had some stuff to get from Target. And so I put in my GPS like a Target, and I'm thinking that I'm going to one Target. I think I'm going to the Target that is pretty close to the Comedy Store, and I end up at this other Target. And when I pulled into the parking lot, I'm like, oh, this ain't where I thought I was going, but whatever, I'm here, right? And I'm about to check out, and the cashier, I normally, and the last time I've been to a cashier at a Target, I can't even remember before this time. I normally go to self-checkout. Everywhere I'm at, a CVS, a grocery store, Target, I'll always go to self-checkout. You know, like I avoid human interaction. I want it to go as fast as possible. It's like, oh, if somebody else, I'm very capable of doing this on my own. I always go to self-checkout, but this particular time, I don't know why. I went right to the girl, and it wasn't like she didn't have somebody before me. It wasn't like she was wide open, so like, oh, it's the same as self-checkout. No, she was fully in another transaction, but I still went to her. And when I got to her, I said, how you doing tonight? And she was like, she looked at me, and she said, she took a second, and she said, I am such a huge fan. And I was like, oh, thank you. And then she said, I have been a fan since the beginning. Since you first started doing comedy, I have been a fan. And I was like, oh, thank you, right? That wasn't what did it to me. That wasn't what did it to me. That wasn't what did it for me. Like, I was appreciative. I was flattered. But, it's like, okay, now let me check out. Let me get up out of here, go to my spot. Then she said, can I ask you a question? And I said, sure. And she said, I'm married. My husband is Muslim, and he has been trying to get me to convert. She said, and I grew up, I'm JC, Jesus Christ. She said, I'm JC. Like, that's all I know. She said, and I find, anytime I try to even look into Islam, it feels very restrictive. It feels very judgmental. I'm having a hard time. She said, and then I saw you. And then I saw the way you spoke about it and the way you express your faith. And it was hope for me. And that's, because, sometimes I can make a lot of things funny. I ain't got to never talk about being black, being a woman, I ain't never got to talk. I can make so many other things funny. Not to toot my own horn, but I can make so many other things funny. I could completely erase my identity and have you listening to me like I don't even know if that's I don't know who she is. What she just funny. She talk about what happened on a bus. I've been on a bus, that's funny. There's no specificity there. There's no, but I always choose to be really specific with the sharing of my life and my identity by way of my comedy. And sometimes the negative feedback be making me want to keep it private because my faith is private. My relationship with the law is private. That's not dependent on anyone. That's not for anyone. That is for me. And that is my duty as a Muslim. It's very personal to me. It's not even for my mom who raised me as a Muslim. It's not even for her. My father, who would be so happy to know of all the 13 Muslim kids that he birthed, and for some of us to no longer be Muslim, he would be so pleased with me. It's not for him. But when I get the negativity, sometimes I want to, which is a very real reaction, I want to retreat. I want to, and when the woman at Target, she knows who she is. I'm not saying her name, and I know her name and her coworker's name. it just affirmed me. And it was like, if my faith had been tested in any way before that moment, it was 100% affirmed after that moment. So, then I went to another show, and something else happened that I won't share right now. But it was also something in the trajectory of this that just was, again, reaffirming. And then I had brunch with my friend Muhammad. I can say his name. He'll be like, why aren't you saying my name? I had brunch with my friend Muhammad, and he reminded me. He said, Zainab, you as a comedian, you share your identity. That you share your identity, you speak about your identity. He said, and just remind the Muslims that are coming at you like that, remind them that it is haram. Remind them. He said, and don't, because sometimes I gotta be talked off the ledge, like, because I wanted to tell that, like, He said, no. Remember, do as the prophet. This is all what we're all trying to do. Do as the prophet. He said, but also, she and they are not complaining when you share everything about your family. Nobody's pushing back when you say your criminal brother or your gold-digging sister. Nobody's pushing back on that. He said, nobody's pushing back on your experience as a Black American woman. They're not, because they don't. So now you get what I'm saying when she says she's North African. Because there's also people culturally who believe that they have more right to Islam than me or somebody else. And they don't know what it's like to be a part of my family. They don't share with me in that. They don't know what it's like to be a Black woman, a Black American woman. They don't know what that's like. The only thing that they know or think that they know is being Muslim. And that's what they're trying to essentially gatekeep. And alhamdulillah, I was sent the messages that I needed to hear loud and clearly for me to keep doing what I'm doing. There was no question of reason in that, you guys, forgive me, and that was so long. I apologize, but thank you for listening. And I do want to say, if you do watch me and you are, struggling with your faith, and I can only speak for Islam because I'm not that I know about the, Abrahamic monotheistic religions to a certain extent, but I'm not really. I'm not as comfortable, and y'all hear me. I try not to talk about the stuff I don't know about. I try my best because it's like I'm speaking from a place of ignorance, But I told the woman at Target, I told the cashier at Target, in terms of her reversion, I told her that, because she asked me, if there was one piece of advice that I could give. And I told her, that it is personal. And she should not do it because she's pressured by her husband. She should only do it when she's compelled. But continue to explore, continue to be curious. And, it's like a pool. Dip your toe in. If the water is cold, take your toe out. Nothing saying you got to get in the pool, right? If the water is feeling a little bit comfortable, then put your full foot in, And if the full foot don't feel right, take it out, go sit on a beach chair. But if the full foot feels good, then I don't know, maybe try and get in the pool. But it's all you. It's not anybody else. It shouldn't be because of anyone else. It shouldn't be forced on or judged by anybody else. And then I also did tell her, listen, in every religion, this happens. People gatekeep. People feel like they are all knowing. People feel like they are authority. And so that's going to happen. You're going to get people who, especially as a revert, you're going to get people, and she's a black woman, especially as a black American woman, revert, you're going to have a whole bunch of people trying to tell you what you ain't doing and what you need to do and I said, have a little grace, but also feel free to step away. Feel free to, be very vocal about your boundaries, all of those things. But, be curious and keep learning until you are compelled. I was born and raised Muslim, but there was still a time in my life. My parents didn't tell me, they told me to do it because they said so, because this is who we are. But then there was a time in my life where my spirit was compelled. Forgive me. I don't know. Forgive me, you guys. Forgive me. Forgive me. That's what's up with me, though. That is what's up with me. I don't really have... Also, last thing. Sorry. Last thing. As it relates to what is happening in Gaza specifically, to only yell at Muslims about speaking up, not just speaking up, but speaking up in the way that you deem right. Do you only have to be Muslim to care? I do believe I am Muslim, but I do believe that it don't matter what. I do believe that even if I was Jewish, that may be like a hot take, but I believe that under any circumstances, I would look at that and believe that is wrong and know that that is wrong. And I would care and I would want it to stop immediately. So to only punch at Muslims is, I hate to say it casually, but we're a very small population, especially in the United States. We're like less than 1%. So it's like you're selling yourself short. North African woman. Because I know you ain't blocked me yet. All right, see? This is what Muhammad was talking down. That we could step out. Let me know when your flight lands, sis, because astaghfirullah. All right. I don't really got, okay, I was going to talk about how old I did not know Hunter Biden was, but we don't even got time for that. I don't know. They be saying Hunter Biden. Hunter is such a young name. I don't know why I kept picturing somebody young, especially because, Trump is so old, but he still got, what's his name? He still got the young Melania's son, right? Who's pretty young. So I think I was thinking Biden's son was young too. Then I saw a picture today and I said, oh my God. He wasn't as old as I thought, but they ain't gonna age well. It's like, no, you got too many secrets. You white and you got that many secrets. It's like you're not gonna age well, right? So I was gonna talk about that, but that ain't important. So I have some really lengthy Ask Z's. So thank you. If you sat through my entire What's Up with Z, thank you. And feel free to share with me in the comments if you want to. If it compels you to relay a message to me or a message to the chat, feel free. There's space for that. But let me just get right into the Ask Z's. So, dang, am I going to be able to get to both of them? Because they're pretty. So the first one is, they actually starts with, warning, this will be long. So they say, Ask Z, warning, this will be long. So I actually experienced being unreasonable to myself this past Friday by accident. Now listen, we getting into a new territory, right? Being unreasonable to yourself, identifying that. There was a work outing that I attended and abruptly left early, not to snap and put my job in jeopardy. So, because they didn't want to flip out on people at work and put their job in jeopardy, they decided to leave pretty abruptly. First, I don't like to drink. No major reason. I just think it tastes horrible. But people complain about hanging out with non-drinkers. So sometimes I buy a drink and I babysit it. I completely understand that. If you've seen my special Hijabs Off, then you know I talk about that. I have so many jokes. There's a funny comedian, Tony Baker. He talks about how him not drinking, people rather hear you. Like you could say you don't do something and they'll be like, I don't know. People are so shocked. Like, it's like murder. Like, what? You don't drink? What's wrong with you? And it's like, and his is not for religious reasons, I don't think. So I know how, and I also understand it. I understand why some people drink and they have, social anxiety. It allows them to be social. It allows them to release their inhibitions. I understand that. And they could also feel judged or self-conscious, or you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like if you're drinking and the person that you're not drinking I think that there has to be a trust there. Like my friends who drink around me, they completely trust that I ain't about to throw them drinking or their behavior while they're drinking in their face. I'm not about to use it against them unless it's in some way where I feel like, okay, girl, we gotta do a intervention. You get what I'm saying? So trust me, I get it. I take a sip every 10 minutes or so. However, this evening, my coworkers still complained I was drinking slow and not keeping up, even though they know I don't like to drink anyway. Secondly, I'm transgender, so y'all understand why I was trying to get the pronouns right. Secondly, I'm transgender. My name has recently changed and been updated with HR. It's been 3 months since an email went out to address me by the new name. It's been 3 months. It's been 3 months since. So for 3 months, because the profile picture, looks like she. So they either haven't gotten an email in 3 months, but I'm sure they're saying that they let HR know 3 months ago that there's a name change, and still for 3 months, their coworkers are still addressing them with the wrong pronoun in these emails for 3 months. Oh my God. So this is some real deep passive aggression. Several people at the table kept slipping and calling me by my old name. But after correcting the third person at the same table, I just stopped acknowledging it since they're drinking and I didn't want to be a buzzkill. Third, yes, I'm still going. Now we get why they're asking, like, was I unreasonable with myself? Third, yes, I'm still going. There were 2 people that I do not F with that joined our table. One of them knows I don't like them because we fell out recently, and yet they sat next to me and even put their hands on my shoulders at one point. I don't like that. I'm funny about people touching me. Even people that I like. Even people that know me, like I'm real cordial with, we got a real good rapport. But the moment their hands get on me, I kind of be like, wait, what? What your hand on me for? I always thought that was a New Yorker in me. Sometimes at my shows too, like Muslim men be like, I'd love to take a picture with you, Zainab, but I'd like it to be a halal picture. And they'll stand like next to me, but with no touch. Lastly, the final straw was I ordered shrimp tacos. 3 came. I ate 1. I stepped away to chat with someone and was gone maybe 10 minutes. When I returned, my tacos were gone. No, I'm black. I asked the 7 people at the table where was my food several times. No one gave me a straight answer. I looked to the person at the table who I considered a real friend and asked her, where are my tacos? She laid her head back and pretended to be asleep. Like this, you guys. That's what I'm imagining. She laid her head back and pretended to be asleep. At that point, I paid for my drink, tipped the waitress, and went home. 1, was I unreasonable to myself for letting it go that far? 2, would I be unreasonable to unfriend the girl that played sleep and never acknowledged any of them again? You know what? Yes, to the first question. Yeah, you were unreasonable to, first of all, you ain't asked this because it's very clear that you already know it. And you gave so much grace. They are unreasonable AF. And that it's wild to me. You see how I'm like, I'm not naive, but still when people are overtly and egregiously unreasonable, I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I don't even know this person. This is a fan that I'm grateful to, and someone that tunes in, listens to the podcast. They put their Ask Z in the comments, but I don't know them. I've never had a personal interaction with them, I don't think, and I'm still trying to be very mindful as I navigate the correct pronouns. Just simply respect for someone that I've never really engaged with, never get engaged with in person. I can't imagine being overtly disrespectful to people I work with every day, especially if I think that they're halfway decent, at least halfway decent and qualified in the position that they're in. Also, work is something people got to do 5 days a week for the most part. I'm not even about to go into an environment and make it unharmonious because I'm not going to make it toxic because I got to be in that toxic environment too. And what is this, grade school? Yo, I do not like a bully. And I do not like a mob that doesn't speak up to a bully. It is a pet peeve of mine, which is why I don't like Benjamin. Anyway, so they were, I'm sorry. I want to apologize to you on behalf of them. This sounds awful. And then if it's heightened with alcohol, with some sort of, it just sounds awful. And then to be like, you know, kind of forced to like drink up. You ain't drinking enough. I would never trust that. Somebody sit and talk about you ain't drinking enough. Why you want me to be drunk? Why you want me to drink so much? Now I'm looking at you sideways. You should have just been hoping in your mind. Or you know what I'm saying? But if you like, come on, drink. You ain't drinking fast enough. Yeah, nah, it's not going to work for me. I'm already looking at you like, nah, I'm not with it. So I'm sorry. And yeah, you really, you know, you had a pretty strong threshold, a high threshold for the nonsense. So were you unreasonable to yourself? Yeah, that happens sometimes. We allow the disregard, the disrespect, a little too long, but I understand why. These are your coworkers, you know, and with coworkers, you got to navigate with coworkers, with family, people you have to see on an ongoing basis. And then with work, it's like, this is your livelihood. You know, it's real easy to be like, I ain't talking to my sister. I ain't talking to my friend. They don't pay my rent, you know? So I completely understand why you were unreasonable to yourself. And I applaud your awareness. I'd say now, forgive yourself. That's all you can do is forgive yourself and sort of figure out the best way to navigate this. Because I can't see you dealing with any sort of this, any level of this on a regular basis and it being good for your mental health. The second question, would you be unreasonable to unfriend the girl that played sleep and never acknowledge any of them again? I think with my friends, and I believe that it's been a pattern for me doing this podcast now, I'm always like, well, try, right? Unless you tell me it's a pattern of behavior. Like you said, one person you don't mess with, they know you don't mess with them. And so when they put their hand on your shoulder, if you would have been like, if you would have, did anything, if you would have had an overt or aggressive reaction, I would have felt like that was completely reasonable. But with this person who you've considered your friend, I mean, you've been very specific in your letter, in your Ask Z. So I'm going to assume that they have not done, that this was new. That them not sort of showing up and speaking up for you and protecting you, like, here's the thing. If I was your friend and your only friend at the table and they was trying to eat your, I wouldn't even let them eat your wings. Or not wings. It's because I don't eat shrimp. So I'm like, I can't even, it's a hard time for me to fathom. I don't really eat wings, but it's just, I don't know the shrimp. But your shrimp tacos. I'd be like, wait, I'm going to just call you Cadence. Did Cadence say you could eat their tacos? Yeah. No, if you want your own tacos, just order tacos. Or if they did it too fast for me to, or if I couldn't, like, let's say I'm not a really confrontational friend, then when you come back, I'm definitely snitching. I'd probably text you right there. Right when whoever's eating your tacos, I'd have probably been like, hey, just FYI, they eating your tacos. So you might want to come back quick, or just know I said something, but they ignored me. So now, given that, I'm shocked that she, plays sleep. It sounds to me almost like summer camp, or sound like a little bit of hate. Like, I don't know. It sounded like they was all joking and the joke was on you and it wasn't funny. The joke was at your expense and at your tacos expense. But I would say, if she is your friend and if she's somebody that has been reasonable up until that moment and has been of good character and has had integrity and you enjoy, and possibly you'd be friends with, even if y'all didn't work, even if you or her stopped working, it is a her, you or her stopped working there, then I'd say talk about it. Give them the opportunity. It's so easy for us to just shut down and say, I'm done with you. You know what I'm saying? But it's always the harder thing. It takes a little bit more energy, but give them, if there's any room, if there's anything redeemable about them, if there's anything redeemable about the conversation, or about the situation rather, go to them and give them an opportunity to meet you where you are. Give them the opportunity. And if they don't take the opportunity, then you can never acknowledge them again. And that wouldn't be unreasonable, because it's just like, okay, I tried, and you showed me again. Because right now it's like it's like fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So she fooled you once. Give her the opportunity to fool her, to give her the opportunity. She may not fool you again, Maybe she'll say, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. It's just that I also have this complicated relationship with our coworkers, and I do wish that I was da-da-da-da. And it's not that maybe you can't be her friend, but maybe you just have to understand, like, this ain't the person that, she can be somebody you kiki with in the office. She can be somebody that you go to lunch with sometimes, but she's not gonna be able to protect you. You get what I'm saying? And so it may change the dynamic of your relationship, and that's okay too. This has been long. Where are we with time? Okay, so I'm not going to get to the next one. Thank you so much for writing in, the Cadence Kyle 05. Thank you so much. I hope that my response to that has helped. Thank you, everybody, so much for tuning in. I know this was kind of like a different one, but yeah, I appreciate y'all for being here. I hope you guys have a very reasonable rest of your week. And like I said, come see me perform, because I be having fun on stage most times. And so come have some fun with me, okay? Until then, this has been I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I will see you guys next week. Bye.